Dear students, in this unit we will talk about certain mechanism by which plants they prevent self-fertilization or self-pollination. As you are aware that self-pollination is actually the transfer of male gamete or pollen from the male part of the same flower to the female part, and that result in the self-fertilization. Now, this self-fertilization is not good for the plant because during the cross pollination or cross fertilization, there is more genetic diversity and there are more chances of survival in different environments. So, in order to avoid prevent this self-fertilization, plants have developed many ways to avoid this self-pollination. For example, in some species, the pollen and the ovary mature at different times, and these flowers make self pollination nearly impossible because the male part or the pollen will mature first, and at that time, the ovary is not ready to accept those pollens. So, the self pollination is nearly impossible in this scenario. Now, there are certain other mechanisms which are developed by the plants to prevent the self-pollination and which result in the prevention of the inbreeding in those plants. Now, some plants, for example, asparagus and willow, they have separate male as well as female individuals. So, the male plants, they have staminate flowers, but they lack carpel or the female part, while the female plants they have pistillate flowers, mean female part, but they lack the carpels or they lack the stamens or the male part. So the presence of only one part of the gamete is ensures the cross pollination and results in the cross fertilization and more genetic diversity. Then there are some other species which have flowers. They have both male as well as female part on the same flower, mean they have stamens as well as pistils, but pollen is shed from a given flower either before or after the time when stigma of that flower is ready to receive the pollens. So this is also a very important characteristics. This characteristics promote the outcrossing or the outbreeding, and which is actually the mating of different individuals of same species. Now, those species in which staminate and pistillate flowers are present in the same individuals, or we can say they are hermaphroditic flowers, they have a common way of preventing self-fertilization is by the way that their pollens are shed either before or after the period in which stigma of the same plant is receptive. This situation is known as dichogamy. Now, in some other plants, certain chemical self-incompatibility is another method through which these plants prevent self-fertilization. In this phenomena, certain chemical substances within the plants are produced through which pollen may fail to grow on the stigma of the same flower that produce it after germination, or maybe the pollen tube may not grow normally, which can lead the sperm from the pollen into the female part. Thus, it prevents the self-fertilization in the plants. Then there are certain genetic barriers, including self-incompatibility, in which the female reproductive cells they have the ability to discriminate between self and non-self pollens. So when the ovary recognize that a certain pollen is shed from the same plant or it is a self pollen, that pollen is rejected by the ovary. And when some pollen from the other plant of the same species falls on the ovary, it has the ability to recognize it, and then it becomes receptive to take the sperms from those pollens, and thus helps in the prevention of self fertilization in these flowering plants.